As we come back, let us remind you that At the Post Live, Serling on Saratoga, is coming to you live from the Parting Glass Pub in downtown Saratoga and is presented by Naira Rewards. Wager on Naira.com, Naira's new state-of-the-art wagering interface, and the Saratoga Hospital Foundation. Together we support community health. Thanks a lot for staying with us. As we come back, I'm very pleased to be joined by Barbara Banke, who's Stone Street Stable I'm sure you're very familiar with. And Barbara, thanks a lot for joining us.
My pleasure.
You came all the way back from Lexington just to be here with us. Isn't that true?
Yes, I did. I was looking at yearlings this morning, and I was really excited to see the yearling crop this year. But I wanted to come back up here. Got 2 racing tomorrow, including one in the Curlin. So I'm hoping to hand out the trophy to myself tomorrow.
How Sheikh Mohammed of you. So the Curlin, that is pretty exciting. I guess you have to be here for the Curlin every year.
I do. I have to be here.
Well, the winner of the Curlin last year, VE Day, winner of the Travers. That was actually pretty cool.
I'm hoping that's a precursor.
For you as well,
yes.
with Stanford, right?
Yes,
Stanford's yours?
Absolutely. Stanford is mine, or half mine anyway.
Now, your yearlings, how many yearlings do you have in Lexington right now?
I think there are about 70 or so that we raised, and some that we purchased as well.
Now, you also have a farm down in Ocala as well. Is that true?
Yes, it's a farm. I've got 5 mares down there, but it's mainly a training center for 2-year-olds, and that's where we send the yearlings as soon as we figure out who's going to be in this year's stable, and they'll go down there about October.
So what percentage you say roughly, or is it just sort of random, are the horses that you've bred as opposed to horses that you would buy at auction?
I'd say it's about half and half.
Now, my Miss Aurelio is a champion, is one you bred, actually.
Yes, we bred her. She was our first homebred champion, so that was very exciting. And we had a partner in that one, George Bolton, and the horse was named for his mother, Aurelia Bolton.
I haven't seen George around. Where's George?
George is in Del Mar, holding down the fort there, where we've got a couple of partnership horses there. So.
Do you spend much time there, or mostly come to Saratoga?
You know, even though I'm a Californian, I spend more time in Saratoga because I love it, and than I do in Del Mar. But Del Mar is also a fabulous place to race.
Is Saratoga your favorite place? You can lie.
It is. No, it actually is. It's my favorite place. Where else can you go where you can drive or walk 5 minutes and see your horses train in the morning and go home, change, come back for the races? I mean, it's fantastic. And the racing's fantastic here.
When I think of days of the racetrack, and I've been coming to the racetrack for a long, long time and seen a lot of great races, and I think a lot of people talk about, obviously, American Pharoah winning this year, and I saw Seattle Slew and Affirm. For me, the single most exciting moment of racing I've ever seen was Rachel Alexandra's win in the Woodward, for a number of reasons, not just because of how amazing she was as a horse. And listen, feel free. You were all there, right? I mean, was it a great day or was it a great day? It was closing weekend at Saratoga. It's normally a quiet day. It was this beautiful day. We got this crazy crowd of 30,000 people, and every single one of them was there to see her. Talk a little bit about that day, and talk about Rachel Alexandra and what she meant to you.
Well, she was a fantastic horse. You know, after Curlin, we were sort of let down because you think, well, we've had our great horse, and now what? So I am at an anniversary dinner with my husband, Jess, in Lexington at Dudley's, and John Moynihan calls and he says, I have to come and see you right away. I said, it's our anniversary dinner, you know, I have no offense, but I don't really want to see you. And he said, no, I have to come and see you both right away. So about 10 minutes later, he shows up, and he's in a jogging suit. He's out there somewhere.
Is he wearing a jogging suit tonight? John, you got a jogging suit on?
John, yeah, no, I don't think so.
He's hiding, he must.
He's hiding. So he says, the owners of Rachel Alexandra, who I had just watched win the Oaks, Kentucky Oaks by 20, will sell her, but only to you. And my husband says, great, we can breed her to Curlin. And that was it. So we purchased her. We moved her trainer because we wanted to bring her back in the Preakness 2 weeks later. And she started training the very next day and came back and won the Preakness. I mean, it was very, very wild. It was a wild 2 weeks, but very exciting.
She came back just a short time after that and won the Mother Goose as well at Belmont. In the Preakness, she dueled with Big Drama, and for people not familiar with Big Drama, he won the Breeders' Cup Sprint a little later. I in some ways, I think because the rivalry with Zenyatta, sometimes I feel like that Rachel Alexandra was a little underappreciated sometimes, and to me, it was the most incredible 3-year-old filly campaign you'll ever see.
Well, it was set up by Jess because he really felt that she could be Horse of the Year, and so it was a Horse of the Year campaign for Rachel, and it was a little tough. I mean, obviously the Woodward took so much out of her because she dueled with about 5 different horses that day, and in hindsight, I'm not sure I would have put her in that race, but you know, she did win it. She went on to be Horse of the Year, and she came back the next year, but wasn't quite as brilliant, and then retired. And she's happy as can be right now.
Well, she's got her second foal, then the first foal to race will be running on Sunday in the second race, I believe.
That's right.
Rachel's Valentina.
Rachel's Valentina. Yeah, we were going to name her Rachel Valentina. She has a tiny little heart-shaped blaze on her head, and she was born right around Valentine's Day on the 13th of February. So we always wanted to name her something with Valentine or Valentina, and anyway.
Apparently you couldn't name her that. Or you named, is this the original name you had?
The original name was Rachel Valentina, but then we Googled it. Please don't Google that name because it was not really what we had in mind. So
nobody here would ever go anywhere near where you would go if you would Google that name. I'm
so
sure.
anyway,
it's a bar. People don't do that stuff around
So
here.
we decided that Rachel's Valentina, because she's Rachel's and she is Valentina, would be better.
Now, you talked about Curlin beforehand. Curlin was your first big horse that you got involved with in the game. Is that true?
Yes, absolutely. Actually, our first stakes winner that John purchased for us was Forest Music, who is a wonderful broodmare now. Won the honorable miss up here.
For Steve Asmussen,
yes,
I think, yeah.
And is the dam of McLean's Music, who's now standing at stud, and Kentuckian, who's a great horse out of California.
McLean's Music, I believe, might have the highest buyer figure for a debut winner in the history of the Figs.
Yeah, absolutely. He got a 114 buyer for his first race. It was an incredible race.
Yeah, unfortunately, he had some issues, but Kentucky, and it's been pretty good in California. So Curlin, so you got involved with Curlin, I think, after his first race, right, at Gulfstream Park?
Yeah, we got the phone call from John. We were out in California. He said,
jogging suit again?
I don't know, because it was on the phone. And he said, you have to watch this race. So we got the race, and we watched it. And he said, I think we can buy this horse. And so he drove down to South Florida. It was Super Bowl weekend, and arranged to purchase the horse.
And from then he went on to some pretty amazing races.
Yes, and he was expensive. So we had a sort of United Nations partnership. We had George. We had Satish Sanan, and then we had the original owners who are now incarcerated.
Right. That's right. That really went well, that partnership. So now you're just buying horses on your own after that, I'm assuming, or just with George.
Well, with George, no, I have a lot of partners, actually. So I am partners in Stanford with Coolmore, and I'm partners with Gainesway, and of course Carpe Diem's a partnership with Windstar Farm.
And
Sheikh Mohammed put in, I think, 6 of his own horses, and it was the most ridiculous race ever. And then I went home and came back a few weeks later for the Dubai World Cup.
Was that fun?
Yeah, super fun. The most fun I've ever had. I mean, it was really fun.
Especially winning. That must not have hurt either.
No, it was awesome.
It makes it a lot better. Now, so you're a lawyer, and you're also the chairwoman of Jackson Family Wines, and you're involved in racing. Which is the toughest?
Racing.
Because?
Well, okay, so here's wine, right? Even though, what's that? You're drinking beer.
It is a bar, Barbara.
Well, I recommend wine. But anyway, every year you grow grapes, you crush the grapes, you make the wine, you put it in a bottle, you sell the wine. It's pretty good. and you always get money for the wine. And it's a really very straightforward business. It's a detail business like horses. Horses, you buy the mare, you select the stallion, you breed the horse looks fantastic, everything's going really, really well, and then something can go wrong. So it's a little less predictable. I mean, the highs are higher, but the lows are lower. So it's a great business, too.
Speaking of wine, so you apparently, was reading something that believe that there's going to be possibly a global wine shortage in the next 5 to 10 years. And for that reason, you've been getting more involved in making a lot of wine in those situations. Can you talk about that a little bit? Am I getting this right?
Well, there's more consumption of wine in countries like China and India, which never consumed wine really before. So if everyone in China, the few people that are drinking wine in China, if they doubled in number, I mean, there's probably only 2% that are drinking wine. If 5% start drinking wine, it would suck up all of the wine made in the world. So, yeah, I really do think that, especially for quality wine, there is a wine shortage coming, but I don't worry about that because it helps me.
What you have now? You produce wine in a lot of places in the world besides just in America.
Yes, we have a winery in Saint-Emilion in Bordeaux. We have one in Tuscany. We have 2 wineries in Australia in McLaren Vale. We have one in Chile. We have a partnership with Anthony Beck, who's at Gainesway in South Africa. And we bring in wine from New Zealand as well. Now,
do you spend time sort of visiting all of these during the year?
Yes, I do.
Wow, that's a lot of traveling.
Yeah.
Do you go to the racing in Australia when you're there?
Yes, I do, and I now have 10 horses in Australia.
Really? That's great. Have you been to the Melbourne Cup, which is right after the Breeders' Cup?
No, I haven't. I haven't been to that particular race, but I'm hoping this year to go back for Magic Millions sale in January and hopefully for the Golden Slipper in April.
And are your horses okay over there that can run? I mean, they have any good ones?
I have a Grade 1 winner named Miracles of Life who had won a Grade 1 at age 2. And we bought her. She won another Grade 1, won a Grade 2. And she's 4, actually 5 now. So it's time for retirement. So we're searching for a mate for her. But she's fabulous.
I guess it would be fair to say that you really love horse racing.
I do. I love horse racing.
Yeah, and nowhere better in Saratoga. Now, also, I want to mention the Belmont Child Care Association, which actually is a community partner with the show, and that's Anna House at Belmont. And I don't know how familiar people are. I know that you're very involved in Anna House as well at Belmont.
Well, we do everything we can to enhance our karma. So we have decided that 10% of all graded stakes earnings go to charities in the areas in which the horses race. And up here, Anna's House is my favorite. So we're hoping to give some money to Anna House this weekend.
Yeah, Anna House. If you're not familiar with Anna House, it's basically a school for the children of the backstretch workers. It's at Belmont Park, and I mean, to me, it's a great model, obviously for us, but for the whole industry, and a tremendous place.
Yeah, it is a fabulous place. Really, really good, well run, nice people. The kids love it. It's great.
Yeah, and there's a benefit for Anna House, I believe, the Wednesday before the Travers, the 26th.
Yeah.
Assume you will be there. Is that?
Well, I'm expecting my second grandson right about that time, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. I can't really commit.
Well, hopefully we'll see you there. Hopefully everything will go well with the grandchild, but hopefully things will go well this weekend for Rachel's Valentina.
Yes, I hope so, too.
I imagine I'll be picking against her. She's going to be such an underlay. You know I have to pick against her. But hopefully she'll do well. Barbara, I can't say how much we appreciate you coming up here. It's been great having you here, and thanks for taking some time out to join us.
Great. Thank you.
Stay with us as we come right back. At the Post Live is brought to you by Timeform US. Visit timeformus.com, the site for the modern horse player.